everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm back with my March Plan With Me video, and I really wanted to do a plant theme this time. I know a lot of people have done a plant or like a cactus theme before, but I think it's perfect since we're going from winter to springtime right now, so I hope you guys don't mind it. I really love how it turned out this time, and it's my favorite month so far. So let's get right into the video. So starting out with the cover page, I'm doodling in these hanging plants. I made sure to use all different types of plants, and it's really easy to do by just changing the shapes and sizes of the leaves. So for example, I'm drawing some ferns with small round leaves, a small succulent terrarium, a plant with bigger, fatter leaves, one with small, thin, sharp leaves, and one random one where I just drew a bunch of small oval petals clustered together. You can really draw any types of plants that you like. And another thing that helps make these drawings look special is using different pots, so you just have to change up the shapes and the designs of them. To write out March, I thought this was a cool font design. Just be sure to make the cursive thin and spread the letters out, and then use a colored marker to write out March in capitalized letterings as if it was kind of like in the background. And then I'm just adding in the dates and making it look like a sticky note that's been taped onto the wall. So for my colors, I'm using the Crayola Super tip markers. I chose 6 of my favorite greens out of the collection, making sure they're all different tones and shades of green, and as well as a couple of different browns and a gray for the pots. On the other page, I wanted to include a cute drawing of a plant shelf with a banner that says "Hello Spring." These Crayola markers are so great because not only are they super affordable, but they come with basically all the colors you need, and you can still write calligraphy with them. So if the Tombow sets seem a little bit too pricey, then I would definitely recommend getting these Crayola ones instead. Onto the calendar, I'm just freehanding the lines as usual and making each box 6 by 6. Since the month starts on a Friday, I decided to fill up the empty space in the beginning with March 2019 in this cool font. So all you have to do is write out the letters, and on the left side, make that left line look like it's a thicker box. And I'm just adding in these little horizontal lines for some texture. For the days of the week at the top, I'm going to be writing them on top of the pots, and you'll see what I mean in a little bit. Again, just doodling in all different kinds of plants. And for the cacti, they look more complicated than they actually are. So you just draw out the shape of the body, and on the outer edges of the body, draw little V's for the thorns, and on the inside, you draw little X's for the thorns. Off to the side, I'm adding in my monthly to-do section, which I always like to have, and I thought it would be cute to make it into like a wall tapestry attached to another hanging terrarium, and I'm using a Sakura white jelly roll to write out to-do in the same font style. So here you can see what I was talking about earlier. I colored in the pots with browns and grays, and I left some of them white. And then I'm coloring in a big black circle in the middle of the pots. And on top of that, I'm writing in the first letter of the days of the week with the Sakura white jelly roll again. I'm using a green marker to fill out the dates, and I thought there was a little too much blank space, so I go back in later and add dashes on the sides of the numbers. For this month's mood and habit trackers, I wanted to try out different styles than the ones I used in my last 2 months. For the mood tracker, I'm trying out this circular design where you color in the boxes still. For the bigger circle, I used a cup, and for the little inner one, I used like a random vitamin pill bottle that I had. Made it so much easier to draw these perfect circles than trying to just freehand them, because for me, I really suck at freehanding circles. And for this month, I found it easier to divide it into 32 boxes instead of trying to eyeball 31 even sections. I started out by dividing the circle from top to bottom and from left to right. And from there, I divided each section evenly down the middle until I made 32 sections. And to fill up that last 30-second box, I wrote in MAR for March. On the inside, I doodled little leaves to show my mood colors for when I'm happy, neutral, or sad, and I'm probably going to use a light green, a medium green, and a dark green for them. On the top and bottom of the mood circle, I decided to add my plants, or else this page would have just looked way too plain. If you need help coming up with different plant and pot doodle ideas, Google and Pinterest are going to be your best friends. For the habit tracker, I drew in this cute tiny plant hanging off the end of the text, since that's going to be the only doodle on this page. So in January and February, I drew out each habit in the shape of their months, but this time I'm just going to use a simple rectangle shape. I guess this month I was just feeling simple shapes since these are rectangles and the mood tracker is a circle. But anyways, again, I'm dividing these out into 32 sections since that's just easier, and I'm filling in the last 30-second box with just some lines. On the left of these boxes, I'm writing out all of my habits, making sure to keep the text simple and minimal. Moving on to the weekly spreads, coming up with this layout was tricky because March 1st is on a Friday, and I didn't want to start this week on Monday since that would have been in February. And I knew I would just end up leaving them completely blank, so I came up with this layout, and I think it works perfectly for anytime a month starts closer to the end of the week, and it lets you fit more than just 7 days. So I made each box 8 by 10, leaving the weekdays the entire box and dividing the weekends in half since I usually don't need to write as much on Saturdays and Sundays. I left a small blank section for notes at the bottom, and in the top left corner, I filled in that part with some small hanging glass terrariums, and of course, gotta add in some drop shadows. This next week, I'm using faux calligraphy for the first letter of each day, and all you need to do is write out the letter in cursive, and for every downstroke, you just make that line thicker. I doodled in these little vines to divide out each section, and I wasn't going to at first because it just seemed like it would take forever to draw in all of those little leaves, but I'm so glad that I did do it because it really helped tie in my plant theme while still keeping the page really simple and minimal. This weekly spread was super quick and easy to just throw together, and it turned out to be my favorite because anything miniature size just looks way too cute. So I used these 11 by 7 sized boxes, and at the top of each week I drew in tiny potted plants, coloring in the pots with black as if it was kind of like a shadow, and I used the Sakura white jelly roll pen to write out the dates in the pot. onto the last page. You know I always gotta include my notes section, and the weekdays are spread out with 5 boxes in between in case you were just wondering. And I decided to throw in a little cactus doodle with a quote that says, "All good things are wild and free" by Henry David Thoreau. You know I always love to include a good motivational quote somewhere, and I thought this one went well with my plants theme. And that's it for my March setup. I hope you all didn't mind the plant theme. I really wanted to do it for this month. I just feel like plants and anything green theme really fits March nicely. So if you decide to recreate it, please tag me on Instagram at AFZXX3 so I can see all of your recreations. I really can't wait to see them, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!